Some games are so bad they loop past bad and become art. This ain't one of them. This is Forest Asylum, a 99-cent Steam purchase that cost me far more than money. It cost me my time, my hope, and a tiny piece of my soul. Welcome to my breakdown of Forest Asylum 1 and eventually Forest Asylum 2, a double feature horror review that proves that sometimes it's not the monsters that haunt you, it's the wasted potential. I would say spoilers ahead, but there's really nothing to spoil about this game. Let's start with the first one, Forest Asylum 1, aka the biggest waste of an hour I'll never get back. Technically it's not even an hour, unless you get stuck wandering like I did because this game gives you zero guidance, zero direction. You start with a cutscene. You're driving in the dark, you hit a deer, crash, and boom, you're in snow-covered forest. No instructions, no directions, just vibes and confusion. I spent 10 plus minutes trying to find the actual asylum. When I did, I was hit with a realization that I had paid 99 cents to basically walk. There are puzzles, but they're nonsense. For example, one keypad puzzle relies solely on button wear patterns because apparently logic and context are on vacation. There's no combat, no real enemies, no scares, just wandering and frustration. Calling it a story feels generous. You hit a deer, you wake up. You find an asylum, you wander around. Some lights flash, you get moved by an elevator. Then the mattresses block your path, and instead of moving them like a normal adult, you start a fire to escape. This is not a horror plot, this is a fever dream sandbox designed by chaos. The ending? You walk out of the asylum, hear beeping like a heart monitor, and boom, you're being resuscitated by a paramedic. The whole game, if I can call it that, was a death limbo hallucination, and that's it. There's no villain, no lore, no meaningful connections between the images or clues you're shown, just vibes, fog, and suffering, mainly mine. Listen, abandoned asylums are creepy by default. You don't have to try hard, and I think the devs took that as a challenge, because this one didn't try at all. Yes, the environment had potential, yes, there was atmosphere, but it went nowhere. The flashes of light, the dapper man in the image, the person burning alive, all of it amounts to nothing. The game gaslights you with random images that pretend to mean something but never actually do. This wasn't a horror game, it was a hostage situation with ambient snowfall. Replayability. Honey, I barely got through it the first time. It's like watching paint dry on a haunted wall. I have zero desire to touch it again unless I'm filming a hostage tape. No alternate paths, no choices, no consequences, just a linear march to mediocrity. Forest Asylum gets a negative 10 out of 10. Yes, it was only 99 cents, but you owe me $1.08 with tax and emotional compensation. This game took up space on my PC and in my heart for all the wrong reasons. It's not creepy, it's not scary, it's not even interesting. So here's how I ended up in this mess. Forest Asylum and Forest Asylum 2 came bundled together in some cursed little $6 Steam special. I didn't know then what I know now. That the first game was a waste of time, code, and precious life force, but I had already downloaded the sequel. And I'm not one for wasting money, and curiosity is a dangerous thing. Here I am wondering after playing that first bit of dribble, why the hell would anyone make a sequel to that nonsense? What was there to even make a sequel to? It didn't make sense. It wasn't really a playable game. I walked through some nonsense and you wasted my time. I even titled my live stream play of the game, Forest Asylum 2, lowering the bar even further, let's see if this one's playable. My live post on X read, back in Forest Asylum 2, because I make bad decisions with my free time. Expectations on the floor. Faith in this game, missing, presumed dead. But you know what? It surprised me. Forest Asylum 2 starts in this weird, dark fever dream of a sequence, echoes from the first game showing up in flashes. I rolled my eyes immediately, ready to write it off. But then, plot twist. You wake up in a modern, well-lit apartment. You get a letter from a psychiatrist saying outpatient care and medication isn't working, and that they'll be sending a car to pick you up for inpatient treatment. So you pack your stuff and head to what looks more like a mid-budget hotel than an asylum. Like, sir, I thought this game was called Forest Asylum, not Forest La Quinta. So far, it's giving indie horror budget Netflix series, but I roll with it. Nice lobby, bright lighting. They hand you a room key and tell you to go to your room, which is already prepped. It was in this moment I realized the dev has never been admitted to a psych facility, because this is not how things work. No, I will not be elaborating on how I know that. Anyway, you go to your room, you chill, you sleep, and then you wake up to a storm. The power's out and the halls are quiet. Too quiet. You wander, looking for anyone, and when you do find someone, they're dead. Murdered. Screwdriver in the skull kind of dead. And just like that, game on. That's the moment you realize, this isn't a hallucination. This ain't no metaphor. This is happening in real time, and the killer, he's still inside. He knocks you out early on, and you wake up tied to a chair and meet the maniac behind the mayhem. Homeboy is dancing in his tighty whities with a power drill in hand like he's auditioning for season 3 of America's Next Top Trauma. And then, plot armor strikes. You pass out, and next thing you know, you're free. No drill guide, no explanation, just fade to black and boom, you're on the floor untied and on your feet like none of that just happened. Let me be clear, that annoyed me. It felt lazy, like a book where the character says, and then I escaped, and the author expects you not to ask how. Sir, you were literally strapped to a chair while a dude with a drill was 2 seconds away from giving you a DIY lobotomy. I need something, a struggle, a hallucination, a distraction, just throw me a bone here. But the devs really said, don't ask questions, just keep going. Annoying? Yes, but fine. Game on. You spend the rest of the game navigating the facility, dodging the killer, solving door code puzzles, while this dude follows you with the Michael Myers murder walk. Slow, steady, inevitable. And he's not picky either. He's taken out everyone. Patients, doctors, nurses, security. No one's safe and everybody can get it at this point. At one point, you think help has arrived. You hear police sirens. But just as a cop asks if you're okay, bam, knife through the neck. The killer strikes again. He's also got your file, which was left out on some doctor's desk all willy-nilly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a HIPAA violation. He calls you by name, and he's clearly playing with you. At some point, you realize you are still alive because the killer is having fun. You're not just surviving, you're being hunted for sport. The entire game culminates to the point where you find a weapon and go to face off against American Psycho here. I won't lie to you. This fight took me like 15 tries because anyone who knows my gaming style know that I rush in like a barbarian and swing until things stop moving. I've never been the type for dodge and parrying and timing, and that's what this game required. But finally, I got him down, and he falls into the fire, which he set, by the way. Side note. There are things I found really questionable about this game, like one, the sheer number of knives. I mean, in most psych institutes, you aren't even allowed to keep your shoelaces on. Why on earth are there so many knives? At some point, you find a note written to whomever's in charge, where they say that they need to fix some issues because the storm and a resulting power outage can compromise the security in the high security wing. I don't know about you, but this definitely feels like a lawsuit brewing. And what is up with the number of gas cans? But I digress. He falls into the fire, catches fire, and in his pain and confusion, runs for the balcony, flipping over it, and at first, I assumed falling to his doom. So I think, that's it for a moment. There's nothing left but to find my way out, and you think you're doing just that. But surprise, surprise. You make it near the end, behind the last few gates and doors, nearly smelling freedom just a few hundred feet away. And guess who reappears? Damn, this man is determined. So once again, I'm being chased, and we walk circles around this thing that I keep hitting, which at some point I realize is actually blasting him with electricity. We do this dance for about 5 minutes because of my poor timing, and finally he falls down, appearing to be dead. The final door opens and you make your great escape, and the credits roll. After all that, you think you're done. It's over. The nightmare has let you go. Post credits. You're back at your apartment. It's quiet, but my spidey senses were tingling immediately. I cautiously check each room. Wouldn't you know it, he's in the bedroom, knocks you out cold, shoves you into his trunk. Cut to black. Title screen. That's the real ending. There's no explanation, no happy wrap-up, just a stalker, a trunk, and the implication that this dude isn't finished with you. You went in for help and walked away with extra trauma. Welcome to Forest Asylum 2, where therapy comes with a body count. The atmosphere in Forest Asylum 2 is dramatically improved. The lighting, perfectly unsettling. The soundtrack, tension building in all the right ways. The killer, absolutely unhinged. There's blood, flickering lights, dead bodies in every wing. Even when the game slows down, you never feel safe. I constantly felt like I was being watched, and most of the time, I probably was. So, it's still a linear game. You're always heading in one direction, solving the same puzzles, no branching paths or alternate routes. So while it's solid for a single playthrough, I wouldn't rush back in for another round. Still, I will say it has more meat on the bones than Forest Asylum 1, which is pretty much like saying a soggy piece of toast has more flavor than air, really. I came into Forest Asylum 2 expecting the worst, and I got a genuinely decent game. Sure, it had plot holes and logic gaps. Seriously, the number of knives in that facility is a lawsuit waiting to happen. But the story was there. The pacing was better, the atmosphere was solid, and the killer, unforgettable in the most unsettling way. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Redemption arc achieved. But also, please keep me out of the trunk next time. Anyway, if you enjoyed my descent into this redemption arc of madness disguised as inpatient therapy, don't forget to like, subscribe, scream into the void, all that jazz. And remember, my little chaos goblins, our controllers are too expensive to yeet at the wall, so stay away from Dark Souls games. Stay weird, stay loud, and for the love of all things spooky, check your backseat before you get in the car. Bye!